Back guys, my name is Agent Psycho, and let's get started on the second episode of the 78th or 77th chapter. I still haven't figured out which exactly chapter number it is. Anyways, of the Exploring the Arsenal series featuring me, Agent Psycho, aka Toast number 98. This time we'll be taking a look at the GP rare variant of the M417 family, the M417 CQB. So let's get started. A weird fact about the M417 CQB is that, unlike most other families, the M417 CQB was actually the last variant of this M417 family to have been released. It was released back in December of 2010, or 2010, I should say. After the M4, because first, how Nexon released the M417 family was like this. They first released the M417, then they released the Combat, then they released the SB, which is the NX rare variant, and then they released the CQB like a lot later. For a time I was wondering, like, is M417 family gonna get a GP rare variant? Like, what's going on? Like, usually they'd put out families like, you know, in fours, like a GP standard, GP rare, NX standard, NX rare. So I was kind of anticipating this gun back when the M417 was first released, and then it's like months later they finally decided to release it. I was like, well, it took you long enough. Anyways, so yeah, the M417 CQB, despite the fact that we had to wait a little bit for it to be released after the original M417 was released, it's still very good, and it definitely is worth what it is. I remember, just a side note, guys. I know I'm digressing here, but I feel like this is kind of relevant. I remember when Backstar released the review on the M417 CQB that he said, like, oh, I don't really know why you would use this gun. Like, this is no better than, like, you know, M416 CQB or something like that. And I was like, because I was too low of a rank to actually access the M417 CQB directly, I was like, well, that's cool and all. I'll still try it out anyway. But when I started using it more and more, once I was able to use it, because it has a very high rank requirement. Once I hit Captain 5 and started buying it and started using it, I was like, fuck you, Backstar. This gun is the shit. Like, this gun is really, really good. And I don't see why you said, oh, it's no better than the M416 CQB or no better than some other weapon that you might have mentioned. But in any case, I'm not trying to hate on Backstar, but I just don't agree with the fact that, you know, it's just like any other weapon, because it's actually a really, really good assault rifle. It stands out amongst the pack, at least in my opinion. So let's get started on the actual review after I gave you like a 2.5-minute introduction to this. To this actual video, and let's take a look at the stats. So a little bit of background information on the M417 CQB is that it did cost 1500 GP for a day, but it now costs 7350 GP for a week, which is quite a hefty price tag. And or you can get it from the Miss G case, because it's technically a Miss or a GP rare variant, so you can actually get it from Miss G if you are so inclined. It does have a very high rank requirement at Captain 5. However, relative to other weapons, this actually isn't very high, because the M417 CQB is actually the weapon with the shortest gap between its M417 GP standard variant and the GP rare variant. In other words, if you put it in perspective, the M417 is unlocked at First Lieutenant 4. The M417 CQB, on the other hand, is unlocked as Captain 5. Those are like, what, 1, 2, 3, like, they're only 5 or 6 ranks apart, whereas most other GP standard to GP rare, like, relationships are much, like, further apart. So the M417, the one good thing about the M417, or one of the good things about the M417 family, is that if you're strictly a GP user, you don't have to wait as long as you might do with other GP families to wait for its GP rare variant if you want to actually try it out and buy it directly from the GP shop. So in that sense, it's pretty good. So let's see. Let's go down the stats first. The two most notable stat differences that I can see right off the top of the stat lists here on Commander's Wiki is that it has a 1 point increase in damage and 1 point decrease in recoil, both of which are very good. So now that totals its damage up to 40 and its recoil down to 63. Portability, did I just say portability for damage? Damage up to 40. Portability and rate of fire and accuracy have all stayed the same at 62, 74, and 80 respectively. So let's talk about a little bit more about its overall performance now. the damage buff is very much so needed. I feel that now it's much more powerful. It pretty much rivals the Rec 7 in its sheer damage. However, I feel that the Rec 7 still manages to kill faster because it just has a sense. It just gives off the vibe that it fires faster, but there's no reason why the M417 CQB can't easily compete with it as well. So the Rec 7, I like to think of the damage on the M417 CQB as very similar to the damage you see on the Rec 7. In fact, it's also very similar, now that I think about it, to the damage that you see on the M416N, the newest M416 variant they added to Commodore's arsenal just last week. So there you go. The damage is very similar to the M417N. So in case you guys are wondering about the new M416N's damage, and like you want to try to compare with other weapons, then the M417 CQB's damage is a very good start to comparing the damage ratings with. So there you go. The recoil is definitely definitely been improved. The 1-point decrease in recoil is evident in the fact that the M417 CQB, the recoil spread doesn't spread out as fast as the M417s. Also, I feel like the bullet accuracy has changed, so that the bullets will start I don't know if this is the right way to interpret this, but I feel like the bullets on the M417 CQB, like let's say you're spraying at someone at middle range, like full on spray, hipfire spray with the M417 and the M417 CQB. I feel like this M417 CQB at the same ranges the bullets will have a higher tendency to actually hit your targets than the M417 will. So I believe that's how the recoil has been improved on the CQB. So that's just my little hunch. You don't have to believe me, but that's just what I feel has been tweaked a little bit. Other than that, the M417 CQB is the same as the M417, though it does mechanically feel a little bit different because it has a different draw speed. It's got a different run speed, or I shouldn't say draw speed. It's got a different draw animation. It's got a different reload animation. It's got a different sprint animation, and it's got an attached foregrip, so your character's gonna be holding a little bit differently. It still comes with the same E.T.A scope, and it still comes with, or it comes with like an attached foregrip. I think I already said that now. And other than that, it actually looks very similar to the original M417. It's like literally the M417 got a foregrip, and that's a CQB. I suppose giving a foregrip to a weapon gives like plus 1 damage and plus or -1 to recoil. Maybe that's the next one's mentality. I don't know. Maybe it's a little inside joke. Who knows? In any case, so yeah, that's all the changes that have been made to the M417 in the GP Rare variant called the M417 CQB, and yeah. One last thing though, because of the fact that the recoil has been reduced by 1, I feel like the Tapfireability on the M417 CQB has been improved by a little bit, and how it's been improved is by the recoil kickback while aiming down sights. When you're aiming down the E.T.A, I feel that the kickback on the scope after you fire a shot is smaller. Like it doesn't kick up as high as the M417's does. I think that's where its main advantage and its Tapfireability lies. And yeah, there you go. So anyways guys, that'll wrap up the review on the M417 CQB, the GP Rare variant of the M417 family, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Next episode is going to be on the NX standard variant of the M417 family, called the M417 Combat. So thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you guys later.